Ready for the word? Well, we're going to get to it here in just a moment. Today we're going to be looking in Enoch chapter 41. We're going to be talking about the courses of the sun and the moon, the portals they come in, the portals they go out of, and how they keep faith with one another. But before we get to that, let me ask you to do two things for me. One, I'm sure there's going to be something in here that you like, so take the time to hit that like button. And if you're not yet subscribed, do that for us. Those two simple acts can aid us a lot. So hit like and subscribe. Now let's get to Enoch chapter 41. Are you ready for the word? Turn to Enoch 41 if you need a copy of the book of Enoch. They're there on the island. Help yourself. Before we read the text, let me share this with you. Biblical cosmology is a term that I had often heard, but I paid little attention to until a few years ago. And then only recently did it really just burn in my brain the phrase biblical cosmology. Cosmology means a study of the origin of the universe. So biblical cosmology is different than science's cosmology, and it's different than NASA's cosmology. Biblical cosmology is information about the origin of all things that comes out of the Bible. It's a cosmology based on what the Bible says. So it's very different from the heliocentric concept we were taught. Heliocentric, you know, you've heard, Helios is the Greek sun god. Centric means everything revolves around him, the sun god. I do like the way that our friend Josh makes a play on that word centric. He calls it centric, heliocentric. So we have a model of our earth presented to us by scientists that are based on theories and wrapped in sun worship. Or you have biblical cosmology. Notice that the phrase biblical cosmology is singular. It's not plural. There are no ambiguities when the Bible talks about our earth, how it began and how it works. There are not two different views. There's not three different biblical views. There's just one view that comes out of the Bible. Biblical cosmology is plain. The earth is not millions or billions of years old. The earth is not a spinning ball flying through space. Not in biblical cosmology. There's no such thing. The earth is not rotating around the sun. The earth is stationary. It sits on pillars. It has a dome over it separating the waters above from the waters beneath. The sun is not 93 million miles away. It's much closer as it moves through portals of our dome and covers the earth and travels across the earth's surface. And the moon is not 238,000 miles away. It is much closer as it also moves through its portals and across the earth's surface. Enoch 41, as well as dozens of other scriptures, testify to the truthfulness of biblical cosmology. So, let's read a little bit of it. In Enoch 41 has page 61 in your red book. We pick up in verse 1. And after that I saw all the secrets of the heavens, and how the kingdom is divided, and how the actions of men are weighed in the balance. And there I saw the mansions of the elect, and the mansions of the holy. And my eyes saw They're all sinners being driven from thence, who deny the name of the Lord of spirits, and being dragged off, and they could not abide because of the punishment which proceeds from the Lord of spirits. And there my eyes saw the secrets of the lightning and of the thunder and the secrets of the winds, how they are divided to blow over the earth, and the secrets of the clouds and dew. And there I saw from whence they proceed in that place, and from whence they saturate the dusty earth. And there I saw closed chambers out of which the winds are divided, the chambers of the hail and winds, the chambers of the midst and of the clouds, and the cloud thereof hovers over the earth from the beginning of the world. So our focus today is going to begin, and we've covered the first 4 verses. Our focus today is going to begin in verse 5. So listen carefully as we read that. And I saw the chambers of the sun and moon, whence they proceed, and whether they come again, and their glorious return, and how one is superior to the other, and their stately orbit, and how they do not leave their orbit, and they add nothing to their orbit, and they take nothing from it, and they keep faith with each other in accordance with the oath by which they are bound together. And first the sun goes forth and traverses his path according to the commandment of the Lord of spirits, and mighty is his name forever and ever. And after that I saw the hidden and the visible path of the moon, and she accomplishes the course of her path in that place by day and by night, the one holding a position opposite to the other before the Lord of spirits. And they give thanks and praise and rest not, for unto them is their thanksgiving rest. For the sun changes often for a blessing or a curse, and the course of the path of the moon is light to the righteous and darkness to the sinners in the name of the Lord, who made a separation between the light and the darkness, and divided the spirits of men, and strengthened the spirits of the righteous in the name of his righteousness. For no angel hinders, and no power is able to hinder, for he appoints a judge for them all, and he judges them all before him. I think verse 9 is a reference to the fact that there are fallen watchers, fallen angels, and if they could disrupt what the sun and moon is doing, they certainly would, but they cannot. This morning I want us to focus on 3 main points from verses 5 through 9. Point number 1 being the sun and moon do not move in a circle under the dome. Point number 2, the sun and moon keep faith with one another. And then point number 3, the sun and moon do not rest. So number 1, the sun and moon do not move in a circle under our dome. They don't move in a circle under our dome. They move under our dome, but not in a circle. Those who believe in and teach biblical cosmology have models in which the sun is trapped beneath our dome and it travels in a circle. Have y'all seen those models? Yes. Not here to criticize them. I haven't made a model. So they have a model and they show the sun sending a direct light down, and it focuses on certain areas and it travels around lighting different parts of the earth, constantly going in a circle. Again, I have deep respect and admiration for those who are knowledgeable enough to take information from the Bible and seek to recreate models for us to see. And that's what these people have did. The Bible says that the sun and moon are inside our firmament, and the Bible says they make a circuit. And so those making the models, based on that information, put the sun under the dome and they cause it to go in a circle, making a circuit. But that's working off of a limited amount of information. It is ignoring the numerous times that Enoch told us the sun and moon enter through and exit portals. For instance, at Enoch 17 verse 4, that's page 39. Enoch 17 verse 4. They took me to the living waters and to the fire of the west, which receives every setting of the sun. So there is a portal in the west, and when the sun goes through it, there is a fire that receives it and escorts it back to where it will enter through the east again. So portals and windows opening in the east and the west. Now Enoch chapter 72 goes into great detail, telling us there are 6 portals in the east that it enters, and in the east out that way, and there are 6 portals in the west that it exits. I've told you before, just paying attention to where I live, more so to the setting than to the rising, But I see the sun set in so many different places. Sometimes way over there, sometimes way over there, and at certain times in between. 6 different places. 6 portals in the east, 6 portals in the west. Enoch chapter 73 is all about the moon's portals. Chapter 74 talks about how the sun and moon work in conjunction with one another through those portals. Chapter 75 and chapter 76 continues the discussion. Enoch chapter 77 says this on page 101. Here's what Enoch 77 says. These are the 2 great luminaries. Their circumference is like the circumference of the heaven, and the size of the circumference of both is alike. So when men tell you the sun and the moon are different sizes, they're lying to you. They're the same size. That's the reason they can have an eclipse. I said that's the reason they can have an eclipse. They're the same size. Verse 4. In the circumference of the sun there are 7 portions of the light which are added to it more than to the moon, and in definite measures it is transferred till the 7th portion of the sun is exhausted. And they set and enter the portals of the west and make their revolution by the north and come forth through the eastern portals on the face of heaven. So when we get to chapter 72, chapter 73, and on beyond into chapter 77, we'll seek to better understand everything Enoch's telling us about these portals, when they come through them, where they exit, why they exit there, what they're doing at these particular times. But tonight, our focus is just on the fact that they do enter and they do exit portals. So any model of their movement has to be a model in which it shows the sun entering and exiting, not a model that shows it circling. As to the word circuit, look in Psalm 19 and let's talk about the word circuit for a minute. Psalm 19 verse 6. He is talking about the sun. His going forth is from the end of the heaven, and his circuit unto the ends of it, and there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. His circuit unto the ends of it. The Hebrew word there is tekufah. It means a revelation. It means a revolution, not a revelation. It means a revolution, a course, or a lapse of time. It does not mean circle. A revolution, a course, or a lapse of time. You ever heard back in the days, back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, circuit riding preachers? You haven't, have you? Many of them sometimes riding a horse. Were circuit riding. They go from one church to another church to another church. They didn't go in a perfect circle. They might go this way and then come right back. But they were circuit riders. That was their course, okay? So, tekufah does not mean circle. In 1 Samuel chapter 1 verse 20, it is the word used to describe the time when Hannah would give birth to Samson. It says this, it came to pass when the time was come about after Hannah had conceived, that she bore a son and called his name Samuel, saying, because I've asked him of Yahweh. So Hannah's pregnancy wasn't a circle. The word translated come there is tekufah. It doesn't mean her pregnancy was a circle. It was a lapse of time. The time from her pregnancy till her delivery had taken place, a course of time. So that's what this word means. Psalm 19:6 then is not saying the sun travels in a circle over the earth. It's saying that it has a course that it follows, and it follows it with precision. If you read it closely, here's what Psalm 19:6 is saying. The sun comes forth from the end of heaven. Where is the end of it? Where the dome ends out there. It enters one of those portals. And his course takes him to the end of it. Or the ends of it, plural. So it enters through one end of the portal and it exits through another end of the portal. He comes in on one side, exits the other side. And then according to Enoch 73, 74, 75, 76, and 77, when he comes in and when he exits, he travels north. Once he exits, he travels north back to where he'll enter again. That's a circuit. Now, I don't have a model for you, but rather than the sun going in circles, I would say it this way. The sun does this. It goes shoot, boom, shoot, boom. Then it might go shoot, boom. How about that? Is that impressive? Shoot, boom. But it enters the east and travels from that portal to a set portal out over there. When it gets there, it's escorted back here. And then it comes again. So with that in mind, now go back and look at Exodus 41:5. I saw the chambers of the sun and moon, whence they proceed and whether they come again in their glorious return, how one is superior to the other in their stately orbit, how they do not leave their orbit. They add nothing to their orbit. They take nothing from it, and they keep faith with each other in accordance with the oath by which they are bound. So there are chambers for the sun and moon above our firmament. Enoch saw it. They come forth from those chambers, and then he saw where they exit and how they come again to the place where they started. The word orbit is like the word circuit. It means path. We think circular movement when we hear that word, but that's just because we've been conditioned from our childhood to hear the word orbit and think circle. Verse 6, and first the sun goes forth and traverses his path. There it is. It's not a circle, it's a path, according to the commandment of the Lord of spirits, and mighty is his name forever and ever. So the sun traverses a path. Genesis chapter 1, verse 14, on the fourth day of creation, Yahweh made the sun and the moon, and he gave them their assignments, and they keep their course from that day, from the fourth day of creation until today, and until beyond. They keep the course that Yahweh assigned them in Genesis 1:14, which brings me to point number 2. The sun and moon do not move in a circle under our dome. Number 2, the sun and moon keep faith with one another. And they've done that since the fourth day of creation. Look at what we're told in verse 5. Number 1, their orbit is stately. That means it's majestic. That means it's impressive. That means it's magnificent. Okay? What the sun and the moon do, it should cause you to stand in awe when you see them. They never leave their orbit. They take nothing from it, and they add nothing to it. The course the sun and moon follow and the precision with which they do it are a witness to how you and I are to view Torah. Deuteronomy 4:2, you shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall you diminish aught from it. So the sun and moon are showing us how that's done. They've kept perfect precision for almost 6,000 years. And the reason they do is because they don't add anything to what Yahweh assigned them, and they don't take anything away from what Yahweh assigned them. We'd be wise to learn from that, wouldn't we? Just as the sun and moon don't add to or take away, but follow exactly what Yahweh said, that's the way we are to be obedient to Torah. It'll keep us on course. In Enoch 2, 3, 4, and 5, in those chapters, Enoch 2 through 5, Enoch talked about how steadfast the sun was, how steadfast the moon and the stars were. He even talks about the trees and rivers and seas and how ultra obedient all of these things are to Yahweh. And then he said this in chapter 5 verse 4, but you've not been steadfast nor done the commandments of Yahweh. But you have turned away and spoken proud and hard words with your impure mouths, and against his greatness, O you hard-hearted, you shall find no peace. So the sun, the moon, the stars, the trees, the rivers, the oceans, they are all ultra obedient to Yahweh, but men sometimes are not. The sun and moon, keep in mind, are not inanimate objects. The moon's not a rock. The sun is more than a ball of fire. They are celestial beings obeying Yahweh with so much precision that it boggles our finite minds. They are celestial living beings working in obedience to Yahweh. We've done this exercise before, but let's do it again. Pull out your smartphone. I want somebody to tell me when the sun set July the 26th, 1976. Google it in Huntsville. Didn't know there's going to be a test. Yep. July 26, 1976. You got 7:51 p.m. Well, that's easy. Anyone could have recorded that. Wrote that down, now it's stored.
Hey, we're in church right now.
All right. So when will the sun set July 26 in the year 2076 in Huntsville? Put that in there. It needs to be Huntsville. July 26, 2076. Does it say approximately 7:52?
Mine does.
Does it? Most do not. The ones that I look at say exactly. How do they know that? And we could pick any other date and keep going with the exercise, but how do they know that? They know that because the sun and moon add nothing to their course and they take nothing from their course. They've been doing the same thing for almost 6,000 years. And you can look back and see how they did it, and you can calculate in the future how they're going to do it because it's not going to change. That's amazing. The sun and moon keep faith with one another, and they're faithful to Yahweh, and they do not add to, they do not take away from their course. A memory from my high school years comes to mind here. There was some of us guys standing around and just talking during a break. Class hadn't started yet, but it was about to, and so somebody asked, well, what time is it? And a guy named Steve Lolly. Sometimes I have trouble remembering my own children's name, but this memory, I know exactly who it was. Steve Lolly gave the time, said something like, it's 10:12. 12 minutes after 10. Somebody else spoke up and said, well, I'm showing 10:13. And Steve started tapping his phone. I mean his phone, that's where we look up time now. Started tapping his watch. And he said, the sun and the moon might vary, but this watch doesn't. I chuckled at the amazing amount of confidence that this man had in his time-match watch. And remember that statement to this day. But though he said it in a jest, certainly he knows, and we all know, he was wrong. The sun and moon do not vary. Ever. Verse 5, their orbit is stately. They never leave their orbit. They take nothing from it. They add nothing to it. And it says they keep faith with each other in accordance to the oath by which they are bound together. When the watchers came down on Mount Hermon, they took an oath and sealed it with mutual imprecations or mutual curses. Well, the sun and moon took an oath together, but they didn't add imprecations or curses to it. They just made promises to one another. The sun said, I'll keep my course. You can trust me. You can count on me. Well, I'll keep my course. You can trust me. You can count on me, said the moon back to the sun. The sun said, I'll not add to the course Yahweh assigns us. So said the moon. I'll not take anything away from the course that Yahweh gave to us. So said the moon. I'll never rest, the sun said. Well, I'll never rest, the moon said. I'll finish my course for as long as the Lord of Spirit requires it of me, said the sun. Well, I'll finish my course as long as the Lord of Spirit requires it of me, said the moon. They took an oath and they keep faith with each other. Faithfulness is an essential element in the kingdom of heaven. Yahweh should be able to depend upon all of his creation to be faithful. And you and I should be able to depend upon one another. Allow me to show you just an illustration of what I think of when I think of keeping faith with one another, how important that is. They keep faith, it says, with each other. Do you have a picture of that? You know what that looks like? They keep faith with each other. In other words, for them to really accomplish their task, the sun not only has to make sure he does what he does, but he needs to know the moon's going to do what she does. And the moon not only needs to be able to do what she does, she needs to know that the sun's going to do what he's supposed to do. They keep faith with one another. Watch this. These are some men sitting in a classroom.
Adding power. The souls will be in from the right for the tuck of a roll. The diamond will be in from behind the crowd for the low break cross. The souls will be in from the right for the section high alpha. The diamond will be in from in front of the crowd for the burner 270. Out of the burner 270 will run a crowd right behind the crowd with airspeed calls, and the delta will be in from behind the crowd for the delta roll. Ease the pull, rolling out the loop break cross.
Rocket jumps. Tootsie. Take it in.
Up we go. Vertical 5-5. Smoke on pull. Up we go. Vertical 4-5. Horizon 7-5 easing power idle. Ready roll hat. On. Mile and a half. Mark. Ground speed. 1 mile. Mark. Ground speed. Smoke up, push. Airspeed call. All right, Diamond Souls, Comcar Tower, Near. Let's have a go.
They spent a lot of time and many days practicing how to keep faith with each other. Their lives depend upon it. Here's how that plays out in real life.
Formation pulls to level. Each pilot will execute an individual brake turn and exit the flight line in a separate direction. The Blue Angel barrel roll brake.
Their lives depend upon the other guy knowing what he's supposed to do when he's supposed to do it, and them doing what they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do it. That's what keeping in faith with one another looks like. Okay? Well, we also have a course to run. That's the reason we have Bibles in our homes and on our phones. That's the reason we assemble together and study the Holy Scriptures every Sabbath. That's the reason we go through our rehearsals on the 14th, 15th, and 16th days of the first month. And on the 50th day, from the day we begin the counting on. That's the reason we go through our rehearsals on the first day, 10th day, 15th day of the 7th month. We want to keep faith with each other. We want to learn. We want to keep. We want to do what is written in Torah. We want to make sure that we keep faith with those who went before us. We're surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses. Therefore, we ought to run with patience the race that's set before us, laying aside the sins and the weights that easily beset us. May we never forget that it was by faith that Abel offered a more excellent sacrifice. May we never forget that Enoch was translated by faith. That by faith Noah warned of Yahweh built an ark to the saving of his household. That by faith Abraham, when he was called to go out, obeyed, not knowing where he is going. It was by faith that Sarah, when she was old, conceived. It was by faith that Moses refused to be called the son of Pharaoh. May we never forget Gideon and Samson and David and Samuel and the prophets who, through faith, subdued kingdoms. They wrought righteousness. They obtained promises. They stopped the mouths of lions. They quenched the violence of fire. They escaped the edge of the sword. Out of weakness they were made strong. They waxed valiant in fight, and turned to flight the armies of the aliens. Those are the people we should keep faith with. We should learn what they did, how they did it, and follow their examples. We should keep faith with Eleazar, that 90-year-old man in 2 Maccabees 6, who when he was offered, here, eat this lamb and pretend it's pork. That's all you got to do and we won't kill you, and he refused. We should keep faith with that mother who refused to talk her 7 sons into compromising that they might live, but instead, with the passion of a woman and the courage of a man, she encouraged them to stay true to Yahweh, even though they would be tortured and martyred. We should keep faith with Yeshua. We're told in Hebrews 12 to consider him. That means to keep him in our thoughts and in our memories. And we should know that he endured the absolute hatred of sinners. We should think about that lest we become weary and faint in our minds. He endured the cross, we're told, despising the shame, but is now set down at the right hand of the Father. Keep faith with him. What are we doing to make sure that we stay strong? They sat in a room and did hand movements, visualized, listened to commands until there was no doubt when they got in that jet what they were to do and when they were doing it. What are we doing to make sure that we stay strong so that we can finish our course? Are we faithful to assemble? Are we faithful to read our Bibles? Are we faithful to pray? Are we faithful to check on one another? Are we faithful to encourage and exhort one another? Are we faithful to guard our hearts and guard our minds? Yeshua said this in Matthew 25:23. His Lord said unto him, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a few things. I'll make you ruler over many things. Enter into the joy of your Lord. Notice he didn't just say good, and he didn't just say faithful. Good and faithful. A good servant who isn't faithful brings nothing to you but frustration. A faithful servant who isn't any good at what he does is useless. Yeshua praised this man for being good and faithful. The sun is good at what it does and is faithful to do it. The moon is good at what it does and it's faithful to do it. From them we learn that we need to keep faith with one another, to be good at serving Yahweh and faithful in our doing it. We need to be we need to keep faith with those who went before us. We need to keep faith with those who are walking with us now. And we need to keep faith with those who will follow us. And we need to leave an example for them to follow. Elijah was taken up by a whirlwind into heaven, and his servant Elisha watched him as he was taken away. And as Elijah was taken away, Elisha cried out, my father, the chariots of Israel and the horsemen." What do you mean by that? The chariots of Israel and the horsemen. He meant that while he walked with Elijah, he saw a man who spent his life loving and protecting Yahweh's people. More so than any army they had, this man loved and protected Yahweh's people. Well, may the generations who follow me and follow you see in us men and women who loved and protected not just Torah. Come on. But we loved and protected the people of Yahweh. We taught them, we prayed for them, we gave to them, we encouraged them, we set examples for them. May that be who they see in us. Quickly, I'll close by talking about number 3. Number 1, the sun and moon do not move in a circle. Number 2, the sun and moon keep faith with one another. Number 3, the sun and moon do not rest. That's found in verse 7. They give thanks and praise and rest not. They have an assignment and they will not let it slide. For nearly 6,000 years they have kept faith with each other. That's over 2 million sunrises and 2 million sunsets, all with precision. That's over 2 million new moons, 2 million quarter moons, 2 million half moons, 2 million waxing gibbouses, 2 million full moons. And never has any one of those been a half a second off. The only time their course has ever been disturbed is when Yahweh commanded them to stand still at the word of Joshua. That's it. Other than that day, they move with exact precision. And they not only do their duty, get this now, they not only, for 6,000 years, they've been assigned the same thing. They don't get to do something different every quarter. They don't get to do something different every 5 years. For 6,000 years, they have to do the exact same thing, and they can't add anything to it, and they can't take anything from it. They got to keep it just like they've been assigned it. And get this now. Not only do they do that, they do it with praise and thanksgiving. Now here they are witnessing to you and me again. Being a good and faithful servant means having a great attitude. It means serving with praise and serving with thanksgiving. Does the Sabbath interrupt your week, or is it the highlight of your week? Do the Moedim interfere with your plans, or are they the priority for your plans? Does attending an assembly wear you out or wind you up? Does the restrictions of Leviticus 11 bring you sadness or gladness? Does persecution and rejection bring you grief, or do you do as Yeshua said, when they come, you rejoice, knowing that so persecuted they the prophets that were before you? If the sun and moon have to do the exact same thing every 24 hours for 6,000 years and counting, and they give praise and thanksgiving while doing it, surely we can and surely we should develop that trait as well. And it's not going to come naturally. That means it doesn't just happen. We have to learn to do it on purpose. It's something you got to make yourself do at first. But when you get to making yourself doing it, then it becomes a part of you. We have to arrest grumbling when it shows up. Grumbling will show up when you're walking that same course day after day after day. You have to arrest it and say, nope, not in my life. I'm not a grumbler. We have to suppress despair. We have to attack apathy. We have to create the habit of giving praise and thanksgiving. Let's talk about Matthew 7 as I wind this thing down. Matthew 7 says, not everyone that says unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that does the will of my Father who is in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, have we not prophesied in your name, and in your name cast out devils, and in your name done many wonderful works? And then I'm going to profess to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you that work iniquity. So verse 22, many will say. Many. Well, it would do us good to remember that it wasn't that long ago that you and I were one of the many. And had we died in that condition that we were in, we would have thought we were safe because we had been lied to. But Yahweh in his mercy called us, and we began to be able to see the lies for what they were, and we came out from among them, and we set our face to walk in truth. And now, come on now, now that he has called us out of that place where had we died we would have perished, he called us out so that we could begin to see the lies and pull from them and begin to see the truth and walk toward it. Now are we going to complain about how difficult it sometimes can be? Are we going to become complacent in the journey? I think if we'll just remember how blind we were, how deceived we were, how much danger we were in, then no matter what today brings or what tomorrow's like, we'll give praise and thanksgiving that we're not going to perish now. Because now we're walking in the light as he is in the light. Learn from the sun and the moon this valuable lesson. It's there in verse 7. They see no need to rest. Read that this way. They don't see a need to take a break. You ever feel like you need a break from having to keep Torah? Does it sometimes seem too difficult? It says in verse 7, they don't take breaks because unto them thanksgiving is their rest. Wow. I'm a little uncomfortable here. I don't want to make this personal. I don't like talking about myself. I don't. But here I think that it could be beneficial. Over and over again, I have people tell me that they don't see how I do everything I do. Work a full-time job, take care of our farm, take care of family, and study and prepare and teach every Sabbath. And when these people who say these things, and there's been many, say these things, they ask me how I do it, I've never known how to answer them. But now I do. Thanksgiving is my rest. Preparing for Sabbath is not a burden. Preparing to teach is not a burden. Preparing to minister is not a burden. It's what he has assigned for me to do. And right now that means working another job, but so be it. And so what? So be it, and so what? That doesn't mean I need a break from doing what he assigned me to do. And I look back to the day that he assigned me to do it, which was many decades ago now, up until this day. I look around and see all that he has done for me, and all I can do is say, wow, Father, you've been good to me. All I can do is give thanks. Not feel the urge to complain about the difficulty of any of it at any time. Thanksgiving is my rest. Well, what is your assignment? Do you know? If you don't, let me help you. Assignment number 1, love Yahweh with all your heart, soul, strength, and mind. Love your neighbor as yourself. Next assignment, learn, keep, do Torah. Learn it, keep it, do it. That's an assignment given to us by Yahweh. Let's go over that again real quick. Learn it. That takes effort. You got to read it. You got to sit under it where it's being taught rightly. Learn it. Keep it. That word means to guard it and protect it, because as soon as you start learning it and seeing it and saying, hey, we're supposed to do this stuff, there's going to be somebody try to talk you out of it. Somebody going to tell you it passed away, you don't have to do that stuff anymore. There's going to be somebody that's going to come around and say, hey, Jesus came for the sinners. You need to stay a sinner so he can bless you. There's going to be somebody tell you something that's stupid. So you got to fight to hold on to what you learn. So you learn it, then you fight to hold on to it, then you start doing it. Okay? Then that goes into the whole duty of man is to fear Yahweh and do his commandments. There's our assignment. And if that ever gets tiresome, if it ever seems like it might weary you, remember Matthew 7 and give thanks that now you're not going to hear those awful words, depart from me. You start giving thanks that he delivered you, and then that path you're walking seems a whole lot easier. Let me give you some practical things you can do as well to keep faith with each other. Number 1, attend. In person, it helps you and strengthens the body, but not everybody can attend in person. For those who cannot, be faithful to listen, to watch, and to absorb. Invite somebody. Give. If you watch on YouTube, here's something you can do to keep faith with each other. You go on YouTube and look at our videos. Some of them have 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,200 views. But in those views, there might be 40 likes. Okay. Out of curiosity, this afternoon, I sat here and looked at some of the videos today. One had 3,400 views and 176 likes. 1,600 views and 104 likes. 1,300 views, 94 likes. Well, that's less than 5% who hit the button. Now, I get some ugly comments from time to time, but I can't believe that 95% didn't find something in the video that they liked. You listening? Can't believe that 95%. So what I've determined is that most people just don't know, so I'm going to let them know. The best way to get these messages out to others is if those that you watch, when you watch it, take the time to hit like. And if you're not subscribed, take the time to hit subscribe. And what that does is makes that algorithm push the video out to more people. That's keeping faith with each other. That's a simple thing we can do. Like, subscribe. Like, subscribe. That's one way you can keep faith with me as I strive to keep faith with you. Another thing you could do is drown out the negative comments by posting positive, encouraging ones. Like I just read 2 beautiful comments. That's keeping faith with each other. All right, I'm done. We'll close. Let's leave here tonight knowing these things. You live under a dome. So Shabbat Shalom from under the dome. The sun doesn't sit still and we revolve around it. The sun does not travel in a circle inside of our dome. The sun and the moon move through portals. The sun and moon keep faith with each other. You and I should keep faith with each other. The sun and moon rest not, but instead offer praise and thanksgiving. They give thanks to Yahweh that he counted them worthy to serve him, and their thanksgiving becomes their rest. We should be like the sun and moon. Don't take a break from the journey that we're on. Instead, give thanks that you're on the journey and that Yahweh counted you worthy to call you into his kingdom. Yahweh bless you and keep you. Yahweh make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yahweh lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. As his name is put upon you, so shall he himself bless you. Well, I trust that there was something in this message that was beneficial to you, that encouraged you, that strengthened your faith. I want to remind you before you go that in 3 John 1:8, John talks about how we ought to be fellow helpers of the truth. And I want to encourage you to be a fellow helper as we, week by week, present the truth here at the Assembly of Yahweh in North Alabama. Here's some simple ways that you can help us. One, hit like on this video. There had to be something in there that you liked. Hit like on the video. If you're not yet subscribed, subscribe. Add a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Share the video with somebody else. Another way you could be a fellow helper of the truth is attend. If you're close by or making a trip anywhere close to North Alabama, we would love to have you come and fellowship with us. Another way you can be a fellow helper of the truth is to give. And you'll find our address linked here right after this video. We also have PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. I say that only because we're presenting the truth week after week, and you could be a fellow helper. I look forward to hearing from you. Shalom.